Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Have a seat, Abhishek.
Thank you, sir.
So, as I can see, Abhishek, you are from Basti, Uttar Pradesh.
Yes.
You have done your BTech in civil engineering from
Yes.
Lucknow,
Yes, sir.
and your optional is anthropology.
Yes, sir.
You are fond of competing in essays, so you have
Yes.
competed in essay competition, jogging, trekking, and bike traveling,
Yes.
and you are working till date as assistant executive engineer in MES.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Abhishek, tell me, you belong to Basti
Sir.
district,
Sir.
but Basti, what does it mean in Hindi otherwise?
It's a in Hindi, sir. It's a locality or just Hindi, sir.
Basti, or in English, you can tell us.
It's a locality, sir.
It's a locality, Basti.
Yes.
From where did it derive its name? Any particular history behind its name, Basti?
I'm not.
Okay, no problem. Doesn't matter. Now, today in the news, there was a big news item saying that one of the PSUs of this country is coming out with the biggest IPO.
Sir.
So, which is that PSU?
LIC, sir.
Okay. Now, what is IPO?
IPO is, sir, initial public offering. That is when a company is going to public, its shares are open to subscribing for public, sir.
So, what is it called? Privatization, divestment, or disinvestment? What is it called?
Sir, it's a disinvestment, sir.
So, what are the advantages of disinvestment?
Sir, one of the advantages would be that its share would be subscribed by the people, and there will be a board of directors who will take the decision of the company in the interest of its shareholders, sir.
So that in any case there is a board of directors,
Sir.
and they are taking decisions even otherwise.
Sir.
Even in a PSU there is a board of directors.
Sir, one benefit that would be there will be sir, there will be consideration before investing its asset in companies like IDBI. Before sometime before, sir, LIC has invested around 51% stake in IDBI. So that kind of act, sir, may not be that feasible in future, sir. As going forward, the disinvestment further increases, sir.
Okay, so the insurance sector was privatized some years back.
Sir.
What is that regulatory body which regulates the functioning of the insurance sector?
Sir, IRDA, sir.
IRDA.
Yes, sir. Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, sir.
All right. Now tell me, what are some of the recent advances in civil engineering?
Sir, there have been a considerable development in civil engineering, sir, such as technology as prefab, sir, pre-stressed building, and there has been smart concrete, and sir.
Anything to do with seismic problems, earthquake problems, anything which has been done in that regard?
Sir, there are traditional methods for earthquake resistance buildings, sir. Making building more ductile, or the retrofitting of existing building.
Okay, so do we need, is there any need for having big statues in this country or Central Vista project? What's your view about it?
Sir, there can be different interpretation of these kind of projects, sir. One, sorry, sir, I forgot to put.
You can keep it in
there. Sir, there can be different views of these kind of projects, sir. First is, if we talk about the economy of it, sir, certainly it is not economically beneficial if we talk about the statue, sir. However, in terms of generating awareness and feeling of unity and or the contribution made by that particular person, sir, in that sense, it can be beneficial.
No. are you in favor or against it? Big statues at a exorbitant cost, central vista.
Sir, I am in favor because
You are in
these kind
favor.
of projects, sir, instill a feeling of national, of feeling of of the contribution made by these persons in their respective fields, and a sense of nationalism can be also be generated in the people by their contribution.
Okay, I'll ask you my last question.
Sir.
You belong to one of the less developed parts of Uttar Pradesh,
Sir.
and do you recently, and also not so recently, Canada
Sir.
is one country which had one of few of its ministers who were of originally Indian origin,
Sir.
Sikh gentlemen who were made the ministers.
Yes, sir.
But within our country,
Sir.
there is so much of intolerance in terms of, say, Maharashtra.
Sir.
They don't want people to come from Uttar Pradesh, some of them.
Sir.
Do you think a stage will ultimately come, a kind of a utopian stage, when a person from Uttar Pradesh or Uttar Pradesh origin will essentially become the chief minister of Maharashtra, and similarly otherwise? Do you see a stage sometime coming?
Certainly, sir. As we see, there are the movement of people from one part to another part is increasing day by day. The employment in the search of employment opportunity or for any other regions, people are going to other regions. Generation by generation, sir. Suppose one person has been shifted to Maharashtra, and his subsequent generations are also there, and they rise in their stature or get an opportunity to in politics, sir. They certainly can be a chief minister someday, sir.
Okay, you are optimistic about
Sir.
it. Okay. Sure.
Thank you, sir.
You do trekking as a hobby. Where have you trekked?
Sir, last time I trekked to Root Bridge, sir, in Meghalaya, sir.
In Meghalaya.
Yes.
How often do you go for trekking?
Sir, lately I have not been getting enough time because of my job and uh, study, sir. I went for this trek almost a year.
What are the essential goods that you should carry on trekking?
Sir, first there are medical kits, sir, and essentials. If that depend on the trek, sir. If I'm going on in winter, sir, there are essentials like thermal and good quality shoes that supports ankles, sir, and uh, that
Okay. Okay. You have heard about the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe atrocities, prevention of atrocities.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What are its main important points? Some 3-4 points can you give?
Sir, as of now, I'm not able to recall, sir.
Okay. Our Prime Minister is on tour to some 3 nations, and he happened to be in Germany recently. Huh? What are the outcomes of his Germany visit?
Sir, I'm not aware, sir.
You have not come across? So you are a civil engineer. You must have read about project management.
Yes, sir.
What is a project, first of all?
Sir, project is a roadmap to achieve any goal.
What are the essential elements of a project management? A project management cycle, you can say.
Sir, first of all, planning of the project, design, execution, and it's a periodical evaluation that it is going with the time or not, and subsequent execution.
Whether a project is as per timelines or not, how will you assess? What are the tools to assess?
There are methods, sir, like critical path method, and other methods based on which we determine the critical activity, and subsequently we do it first in that sequence only.
Is this knowledge useful in administration?
Yes, sir. This knowledge is useful in administration, such as we need to work on those aspects which are critical in nature or which are emergent in nature.
Can you give an example? Example.
So, like in crisis situation, first of all, we have to assess the situation. Accordingly, we take steps that how we have to employ the police.
Give an example, not give me theory.
As of now, not able.
Okay, thank you.
Railway engineering. You are in the railway engineering.
No, sir. I'm in MES, sir. Military engineering.
Military engineering. Why you want to come towards civil service side from military to?
Sir, civil services provides opportunity to work in different sectors, and MES is a specialized job, sir. And apart from that, the kind of diversity civil services provide.
What is your dream in the civil service? Suppose you get into it, then what is your dream?
My as such, I haven't thought about my dreams, sir, but certainly I would like to work in rural development, sir.
Rural development. For example, what you would like to achieve here?
Poverty alleviation, sir. Poverty alleviation, sir, and increasing the income of.
What are the schemes for the weaker sections of the people?
Sir, there are schemes like MG Narega, प्रधानमंत्री कृषि सिंचाई योजना, प्रधानमंत्री नेशनल रूरल national rural urban, sir, I'm forgetting the name, sir. There are national social.
No problem. And scheduled caste, scheduled tribes are also part of this. They are also weak. They form weaker sections. So anything comes to your mind, any scheme, any plan for their welfare?
For scheduled tribes, there are schemes, sir, conservation cum development program, and there have been enhanced focus through budgetary allocations.
Yeah. What is that allocation?
275, sir. There has been tribal sub plans, sir, under which the fund is allocated to states. For
What percentage of the fund?
according to their population, 8% is their population, and budgetary funds should be allocated to STs according to their
And from where money comes?
money, sir.
Money for the plan.
Consolidated Fund of India, sir.
And in the state?
Under tribal sub plans, money is allocated to states, sir.
And it is spent as per their population. Okay, good. My last question, you were mentioning about, you see, when he asked the question about statue, whether you support actually installing more statues. Suppose you are district collector, you are doing excellent job, and people are worshipping you, that he is hero of our district. Would you mind actually if your statue is installed actually in some corner of, see, in the road?
Sir, I think the taxpayers' money should not be spent on my statue because my contribution has not been.
But there also it is taxpayers.
Yes, sir. But my contribution would be minuscule compared to theirs.
No, then they will install a smaller statue. What is wrong in that?
I think, sir, more developmental.
A very small one. Just as a token of recognition of.
It will send a different signal, sir.
What signal? What different signal? It will actually encourage other collectors that look, he did wonderful job, and now I also, you see, will be doing this type of exemplary job.
Sir, I think statue should not be made, sir. It will send a wrong
So in your case, you don't want, but in other case, you are inclined.
their contributions are significant, sir, in our national history, sir.
How we know actually that contribution is? All of them might have not contributed to that extent. Okay, thank you.
Abhishek, you are presently working in MES
Yes, sir.
since 2017,
Yes, sir.
so 5 years.
Yes, sir.
So you must have undertaken many projects.
Yes, sir.
Did you work in the forward areas also?
No, sir. I haven't done any work in forward areas, sir, but I was associated with the runway work, sir.
In matters of awarding tenders,
Sir.
L1, L2, or whatever, did you face any pressure from your superiors or from your political masters?
Sir, in MES, sir, there has not been the case of political pressure. However, at my level, contracts are not awarded, sir. It has been contracts and is being done by the higher officers, chief engineer, so on, sir.
Okay.
So in that,
But if you are posted as the district magistrate of Basti,
Sir.
there are a lot of political pressures
yes, sir.
awarding it to the tenders who is not L1 because of whatever reasons. So, supposing your minister or your commissioner or your secretaries, they ask you orally to award the job to L3, how will you go about it? How will you manage him?
Sir,
It is not possible.
First of all, sir, if any direction, oral direction comes from my superior, I'll ask him to give in writing the direction. Otherwise, I will award the whatever the rule says. According to that, I'll award the contract.
Supposing it comes in writing order
Sir, if
that
it
we
comes,
award it to L3 rather
Sir.
than L1.
Sir, then I'll put up my if it is against the rule, I'll put up my intention that that it is against the rule. I'll put up in and noting, sir, that it is against the rule, and however, it is my advice. It is not to be given to the L3, sir.
Okay. You will not take your seniors into confidence.
Sir, I first of all I'll consult with him that it is against the rules, sir, and we cannot do. If he insists, then I'll put up in
Supposing there is no written orders and there is a pressure every day, what do you do?
in case it is against the rules, sir, I will not follow it, sir.
Won't you like to reduce everything to writing? If there is no written orders from the ministers or any member of parliament or MLAs, will you not like to reduce it to writing?
Uh, I'll ask him to I'll ask him to give in writing, sir. In case if there is,
He refuses to do so. He is only ordering you. He said, "I will transfer you if you don't do the job."
sir, I'll follow whatever the act says. The current rule on that subject, sir, I'll follow that.
You talked about retrofitting.
Yes.
What is the purpose of retrofitting? Is it for strengthening the foundation?
Yes, sir. Retrofitting is a process of strengthening the building, sir, overall. Foundation or beam, column, etc.
Beams and columns also.
Yes.
And the height of the building also gets raised in the process.
No, sir. We in retrofitting we do jacketing. We provide an additional layer of reinforcement, embed in it column, and again cast it, sir.
If that is the position, that will increase the life of the building.
Yes, sir.
Then why the government is bent upon demolishing north block, south block? There is a central vista
Yes, sir.
going on in Delhi at exorbitant cost. Thousands of crores are being. Do you think that this is the right time to undertake such a massive project?
Sir, with the coming delimitation, sir, there are a number of MPs going to increase, and the current parliament building will not able to accommodate those many MPs. Also, sir, the retrofitting cannot be efficiently done in current parliament.
Parliaments are not going to be demolished. Please note that. Only the north and south blocks are going to be, and north and not even north and south block. Other buildings, Shastri Bhavan, Nirman Bhavan, Krishi Bhavan, they're going to be demolished, and all are being concentrated.
Sir, I think uh, the purpose of constructing these buildings would be to accommodate with them with the newer technology or energy, making them energy efficient, or could be any other purpose. That project objective is not in.
This has been against the advice of the environmental activists, social activists, eminent architects, civil engineers. They have all advised against it. Even security experts have advised against it. They don't concentrate all buildings at one place. Anyway, one last question. Racial clashes are going on in Balochistan, where Balochis are being have become very active. They're killing Chinese because Chinese don't give them jobs and employment. They're giving it to their own people, Chinese. And do you think any security concerns in this for India?
For India, sir,
Gwadar port.
as far as I know, sir, from separatists in Balochistan, India currently faces not that significant threat, sir. India mainly faces threat from Pakistan, these areas of Afghanistan and Pakistan, sir.
Abhishek, civil engineer. Which day is observed as the engineering day?
Ma'am, 15th September.
Okay. Why?
It is the birthday of Sir M. Visvesvaraya, ma'am.
And what is his contribution?
His contribution were in field of in design of dam, ma'am, and flood protection system in Hyderabad, and also the block system in dam.
Yeah, the block system for dams. What does it mean? Automatic doors shut during overflow. Yeah. Okay. Now, what is the difference between a subsidy and a freebie?
Ma'am,
Difference between a subsidy and a freebie. We find a lot of freebies are given these days: free water, free electricity, free ration, and subsidies like fertilizer subsidy, those kind of things. What is the difference?
Ma'am, freebies are absolutely free. They are provided to population in free of cost. However, subsidies are provided to those items which are, if they are given in the free market, they normal people would find it uh, uh, difficult to purchase. Ma'am.
Why are freebies given?
Ma'am, there can be multiple reasons. It can be political reasons that any generally political.
Okay, political reason. What other reason?
Ma'am, in political manifesto, when party.
Basically, political reason.
Yes.
Yeah, fine. Uh, you have been with the military service. Every year, Government of India builds or erects the barbed wire across the border. And then, because of the snow and the weight of the snow, they collapse. Is there a permanent civil engineering solution for this?
Ma'am, we can construct a retaining wall, and the top of the retaining wall could be made slanting so that if snow load comes, it disperses to the both sides.
And how much of height would it have?
That will depend on area, ma'am. Generally, we construct retaining wall around 1 or 2 meter height, ma'am.
So that they cannot cross.
Yes, ma'am. Mainly for infiltration.
Then why haven't we done it so far? Or have we done it partially?
Ma'am, because the cost consideration will be very high if we create the retaining wall throughout, ma'am.
But we have to, construct and repair this barbed wire fencing every year. Recurring cost. There's a recurring cost. Yeah. Okay. Now you have given a preference for the police services as at number 2. The Indian police service is known for its corruption and high-handedness. Why do you want to take it up?
Ma'am, corruption is mostly individualistic in nature, and it depend on person how he goes about the corruption, ma'am. It is more in individual's nature, ma'am.
It is individual, not systemic in our system.
Ma'am, I haven't come across a systemic, ma'am. Mostly it is individual.
You haven't joined the service, how will you come across? So, if there is, let me modify my question. If there is systemic corruption in police, why do you want to join?
Ma'am, I believe in doing my work. I will do my work with honesty. At the initial level, I cannot change things. However, if I reach at level at which I can make changes to the system, then certainly I'll do.
In view of Prime Minister's various foreign visits, where he interacts with the diaspora on a regular basis, do you think voting for NRIs should be allowed? Because he's the only one who will be able to campaign and, kind of put his word across. The others would be at a disadvantage.
Ma'am, in my opinion, I think NRI should be given right to vote because ultimately they are resident of Indian, and because of their
They are non-resident Indians.
they are Indian. They are Indian. They have been.
They are of Indian origin.
Yes, ma'am. They have the right to vote. However, because of their compulsion of education or job, ma'am, they are out of India. And coming to the political orientation, it is again individual's choice, ma'am.
No, it doesn't, because one person, it's not a level playing field. Anyway, thank you.
I would like to ask him one more question as a supplementary to what she has. Many of the NRIs are non citizens of other countries.
Yeah, I was about to ask, but I didn't.
Those who are citizens of other countries, they should not be.
So I think the law is very clear on that. Those who already have acquired citizenship of the country where they are residing cannot have this.
Okay, Abhishek, we'll take you back to the waiting room for a while.
Yes,
We'll
thank
call
you.
you back again after a few minutes. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right. आइए अभिषेक बैठिए. Please have a seat. So Abhishek, tell us, when is your interview fixed now?
19th May.
19th of May.
Yes.
This is the first time. No, last time also you must have appeared.
Yes, I have appeared, but
That was for MES.
yes, sir.
But is it a part of same exam or separate exam?
MES, sir, I have given engineering services exam.
That will be part of engineering services. What were the marks which you obtained in the?
MES, sir.
Yes,
Yes, I obtained, sir, 122, sir, out of 200, sir.
122 out of 200.
Yes.
Okay, so not bad, more than 60%. Yeah. Okay, so Abhishek, first of all, you will have to give us your assessment as to how you performed.
Sir, I think I fumbled a lot, and I need to practice more, sir.
Okay. So Abhishek, first of all, let me say that you are okay. There are certain things which if you introduce in your answers, then it will definitely make it much more impressive.
Yes.
The first and foremost thing which you yourself said, you fumbled.
Yes,
So practice a little bit. You still have got about 16 days at your disposal.
yes,
Practice speaking before a mirror,
yes.
so that it is continuous, without any fumbling, without any pauses, and bring more energy and confidence into that.
Yes,
You
sir.
should be sure of what you are saying,
I-
and that will be possible only if you let that question remain inside your head for a few moments. then think about it and then come out with the answers. And when you come out with the answer, then you don't retrace back. For example, in the case of statues, initially you said, yes, it's a good idea. But when the question was asked about your own statue, then you retraced back. You see, the principle can be the same, whether it is your statue or other statue. But you could have come out of that rigmarole by saying that those people who are living, their statue should not normally be, erected. Okay, that was a way out of that, question. So don't try to contradict yourself, because then it will give rise to a situation where you will be wavering in your reply, which we don't want that it should happen. Okay, so communication, slight improvement, more confidence, more energy, less pauses, less fumbling. That can come only when you stand before a mirror, practice a little bit. Otherwise, your choice of words is more or less okay, and you don't have to use very difficult words also. Simple words are fine, but little more energy, louder energy. Okay, modulation, ऊपर नीचे वॉइस का होना चाहिए, जिससे कि सामने वाले को उसका असर पड़ता है. So modulation. Okay. Now coming to the content part, so your knowledge part. First of all, I will like to mention some of the things which are invariably a part of the 20 minutes interview. So your Basti, find out the history of Basti, how it was acquired, the name Basti. Uttar Pradesh and Basti, read everything about them. So what are the things? Major crops, agricultural area, geographical area, population, what are the tourist spots, what is the level of irrigation, okay, power situation, canal irrigation, okay, the problem associated like salinity, alkalinity, because basically you come from one part of the Uttar Pradesh which is generally not so advanced as the western part of Uttar Pradesh. So you must know the typically constraints and problems relating to your area. Okay. Then status of women, education, the social evils, the crime situation, everything about Basti and Uttar Pradesh. Then supposing you are asked a question as to Uttar Pradesh should be bifurcated or trifurcated, what is your view about it? You should be able to come out by giving certain examples that say Punjab and Haryana and Himachal, they were joined Punjab, they were separated, every state had prospered. So therefore, you can say that it is likely to result in smaller, administrative units, and therefore much greater, funds will also be much more diverted towards the area, and therefore manageable. It will become manageable. So therefore, generally speak about in favor of that. Then love jihad. Okay. Then what is the charisma? Why the present government has been voted into power again? What were the policies which the present government in Uttar Pradesh had actually sought to implement, which endeared him, the chief minister and the minister, to the people? Okay, so you must understand that political side also. Then certain things relating to civil engineering. We asked you many questions, but prepare as much as possible. What is ready mix concrete? And what is the Ultratech? What does it make? What is pozzolana cement? What is Portland cement? The retro engineering, seismic problems. What is the use of lime, iron, steel? Everything about construction, project management, the essential components of project management, PERT, CPM. Okay, you should study that. What are the qualities of a project leader? Okay, that you should know. And particularly keeping in view that you are belonging to military engineering services, basically the engineering services cater to the building part or other parts also.
Sir,
building and roads?
Yes, sir. It is related to
bridges.
Normally, we do not construct bridges, sir, because zarurat nahi padti unki.
And so what is that area? Buildings basically?
Yes, building roads, sir.
Building and roads. So the same thing.
Fencing is there, ma'am. Fencing of the boundary is there.
Okay. So then the entire procedure of calling tenders, how they are called, tender evaluation committee, tender form, the bid committee, and so on. The entire procedure about how this thing. What are CBC instructions regarding negotiations? Whether you can negotiate or not. Negotiation with L1 is allowed or not. All these things. Then associated with that will be the corruption, which has flowed into that. So they can ask you, if you are a civil engineer, what advantage you are going to get if you come to the civil services. Okay, so you can talk about many things, that the corruption prone areas and so on. Okay, and so that is again an aspect about corruption. What are the agencies which are controlling corruption in this country? So there is CBI, whether it is vigilance, whether there are so many CVC and so on. Then anthropology, you have to study a lot about the tribals. And while I say about tribals, also understand that you have to understand the public policies which have been framed, the laws which have been framed for tribals, for scheduled castes, for women, for children, for senior citizens and handicapped people. So every sector of society, government has been conscious enough, because whenever they come into power, they bring along with them the manifesto, and the manifesto is then converted into public policies. You must understand what are the public policies made for specific sectors of the society. Then coming to your hobbies. So learn good things about your hobbies. Make a conscious effort to divert the discussion towards the hobby, but prepare them well. So jogging, trekking, bike traveling, any last visit to a place which you have made, understand about that place where you had gone through motorbike. You were traveling a motorbike, no?
Yes.
So what is that motorbike? What is the brand of that motorbike? What are the advantages? Do you go alone or do you go along with, either it is hill journey? And then question was asked regarding what are the minimum requirements of things which you will have to carry while trekking. So that also you should know. Then jogging, what is jogging? What is voguing? What is walking? Every aspect of that you should know. And then besides that, of course, general things which I am going to talk to you about is prepare the, since it's the eastern part of Uttar Pradesh, so understand the revenue system of Uttar Pradesh very well. How the Patwari works, how the Kanungo works, how Nab Tehsildar, SDM and collector. Understand the system, the duties of the revenue. You don't have a pen? You want another pen?
No, sir, I have.
Okay. So understand the functions of collector in revenue administration and officers down below. जरूर समझ लीजिएगा कि तहसीलदार, कानूनगो, पटवारी का क्या काम है. And second is collector's function regarding law and order. Okay, that is why he is called district magistrate. So read the criminal procedure code very well, the preventive sections. Are you following what I am saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Third is understand his role in election process. So district election officer, and sometimes he also acts as returning officer.
Yes.
Okay. The Representation of People Act, you must study very well. How the polling parties are made, what is the process of election. So notification, then accepting nomination papers, and then allotment of symbol, making of parties, sending the parties, carrying out the election, getting the EVMs and everything about that. Okay. Then the disaster management. So COVID-19 was one such disaster, but there can be floods, there can be drought, there can be tsunami, cyclones. Understand the role of the collector under NDMA Act also. And also finally, you must understand what are the public policies for different sector, which I have already told you.
Yes.
All right. Read constitution very well to understand everything about constitution, the polity aspects. So they can even ask you how the president is elected, how the president is impeached, how the high court judge is impeached. Okay. What is Raj Sabha? How the members of Raj Sabha are elected. Okay. Everything about that. Fundamental rights, fundamental principles and so on. So that's about it. And then finally, foreign affairs. So external affairs, the foreign policy, how what are the relations of India and its neighbors, and the world order. So current affair, you have to be very, very good in domestic as well as international.
Yes.
Okay. And keep your eyes and ears open. Lot many questions were asked, controversial also. So whenever a question is asked which is slightly tricky or question, you give both the sides.
Yes.
So central vista, don't start criticizing. Don't also go out too much in favor. Give both the sides. And then ultimately, if you are asked about your opinion, then you follow the official version.
Yes.
So then, of course, many things can be asked about whether the freebies and the subsidies. What is the question was asked? What is the difference between the term? And then barbed wire fencing erected, and what will happen? How it is done? That is related to your own subject. So the profession which you are occupying, and then things about, for example, the clashes in Baluchistan. So things, the world order, which is there. Then also study the United Nations institutions. Okay, that's about it. Yeah, sir.
The present chief of army is from the engineering corps
Yes.
and not from the combat
Yeah,
forces.
that's true.
What is your view on that? They might ask you.
It's a deviation which has happened.
Is it deviation from the normal practice?
Normal.
I
It
think for the
always
first
used to
time
be
he has been.
artillery or infantry.
So is it okay or I don't know? We have to go by the government decision.
Government
We have to support it.
Yes.
And the role of CDS. Who is likely to be the next CDS?
CDS.
Who was the former CDS, the first CDS? Okay, they may even ask you questions about, since you belong to the to the defense forces, so therefore they may ask you about the chief of army staff, the former, so about Sam Manekshaw, 1971 war even, and what is the role of the MES in building up the infrastructure in the army. Even issues related not directly with army but border roads organization. All these things are. Do you have any questions to ask?
Sir, there are no particular questions, sir, but I think I need to practice more, sir.
You are okay. As I said, have that confidence
Yes, sir.
that this time you have to make it to the service to which you are aspiring for,
Yes.
and you can do it. It is a doable thing.
Yes.
Slightly more confidence, more knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Concentrate on your hobbies, concentrate on current affairs and the profession to which you belong. Understand about Uttar Pradesh, Basti and the subjects. And if you do that, I can assure you, you will come up with very good marks. And of course, everything will depend on your written paper also. But
Yes, sir.
as far as interview is concerned, you can definitely make a mark there.
I think, sir, I can be more energetic, sir, because
Slightly,
I think I was
More
speaking very
confident.
slowly.
Let it not be in a very, very low tone.
Yes, sir.
You must come out proactively.
Yes.
Like I'm speaking right
Yes.
now to you, in the
Yes.
same manner.
Sir.
You should speak that. It should be polite, but at the same time loud enough with modulation.
Yes.
Okay?
Sir, I'd like to add.
Yeah,
Please,
sure. Sure.
Sorry.
Please remove that logo from your.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I was
that
about
is
to
it.
remove, but yes,
That is
that
it.
was.
You ask the tailor, he will remove it.
Yes.
Just get some examples of modern day civil engineering marvels, because
Yes,
now the civil engineering is very different from traditional, and you can also look into the architecture or the civil engineering part of temples,
Yes.
the forts in the temples, that kind of a question. Because modern day buildings collapse very fast, whereas they have been there for hundreds of years.
Will you be sporting a beard?
No, sir. Just
You must have clean
Yes,
shave.
sir. Yes, sir.
Anything else you would like to ask them?
No.
You will do very well. Just go and make it as your motto now. Just sit down, take it as a challenge, and you will do that.
Thank you.
All
Thank
the
you,
best.
sir.
All
Thank
the
you.
best.
Thank you,
All the
ma'am.
best.
Thank you.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.